Okay, so Leonardo DiCaprio is like essentially just like a dumb, horny idiot. And it is the biggest flaw I have with this movie. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Burns Views. My name is John, and today we are talking about the new film from legendary director Martin Scorsese, who did great crime dramas like Goodfellas, and Casino, and Gangs in New York, and The Aviator, and The Departed, and The Wolf of Wall Street, just Raging Bull, Mean Streets, Taxi Driver. The man is a legend in his time. And this might possibly be his last film to date. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that would indicate that, even within the film. And if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I mean. There is a scene in this movie that borders on being an epilogue, but I'll get to that in a minute. So, much like the trailer kind of tells you, it's a very simple story about a man who is tasked. Leonardo DiCaprio is the nephew of Robert De Niro, who is a man who is there to get the oil. Again, this is nothing new. You know exactly where it's going. They want the oil in the town, they're going to get it from the Native Americans, and they're going to get it any way they want. Leonardo DiCaprio, much like it's like The Departed, is sent in undercover to go marry somebody within the native tribes so that they can infiltrate and capitalize on all that money and land and oil, because that's Robert De Niro's main plan. Again, I think the trailer showed way too much, but that's neither here nor there. That's a whole marketing thing. But the movie is 3 hours and 45 minutes long. That's a long time. That's easily 2 movies long. And this could have been a 2-hour movie just fine. This is not... I would argue that when you watch a Scorsese film, like maybe Goodfellas, you might watch a character's entire life play out. This, I don't think, is so much the case. I mean, I could be wrong, but I didn't get the feeling that we were really moving through time. I think we moved through a couple of years, but not an entire lifetime. So to have a film that's that long doesn't really feel warranted. You know, I think we kind of always forget that back in the day, Scorsese kind of did, you know, one for me, one for the studio, one for me, one for the studio. This is hands down a one for me. Martin Scorsese. This is a passion project. So it's not going to be for everybody. You know, I said in my quick review, like, I kind of equated it to what it kind of feels like when you're in the 3rd grade and, you know, they wheel the cart in with the TV and they're like, we're going to watch a movie today. We're going to watch all 4 hours of Gettysburg with Jeff Daniels. And, you know, if you're in the 3rd grade, you're like, ah. Now, as a grown-up, I can appreciate the movie Gettysburg, and I can appreciate Flowers of the Killer Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, with that said, it is a tedious movie that takes its time, and you're going to fall into one of 2 camps. You're either going to be really bored by this, or you're going to kind of be like, you know what, I like that it's this long. I like that I can kind of put my lazy boy chair back at AMC all the way back and just kind of hang out in this movie. There are certain scenes where the scenes just really do breathe. And it kind of reminds me of like watching Jaws, where it's just like you're very much immersed in this universe and you were there with those characters and you feel what they're going through. And Lily Gladstone probably is going to win an Oscar. Does she deserve it? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, part of the look, I can care less about the Oscars. Thanks, Jada. But there's a lot of reasons why the Oscars I'm just kind of like many people, I don't care about how that goes down. But in a world where the Oscars are a respectable event like they used to be, Lily Gladstone, if she won, I wouldn't have any problem with that. Leonardo DiCaprio, though? Well, okay, so Leonardo DiCaprio is like essentially just like a dumb, horny idiot. And it is the biggest flaw I have with this movie. Granted, I didn't read the book, and maybe this character was an idiot, and maybe, you know, what have you, they're being authentic, or this is what they want to portray because this is probably how it went down. But this is one of those few times where I have to say, like, I wish a producer or somebody stepped in and was just like, yeah, this is not working. Because Leo's character is such an unlikable character because he's so incredibly dumb. This is what it would feel like if they made a Shutter Island 2. Because Leo is that dumb, and you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, a child can make better decisions than what you're making right now. A child can see the forest from the trees, that this person is lying to you, and this person is gaslighting you, and this person's manipulating you. You know what I mean? They dumbed down his character to the extreme of just like, what are we doing? Like, why is he so dumb? And horny. That part I'm like, well, that's just Leo. I mean, there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where he's like, I like all kind of girls. I like them big. I like them small. Black, white, blue, doesn't matter. It's all great. And the movie starts pretty strong, but as it goes on, you can enjoy it. But it's essentially like you have to be in the right mindset for it. Lots of Native Americans in this movie are killed in the hunt for money, and it feels like a funeral that will just never end. And you feel for the characters, but I never felt like I got to know the characters well enough to really care about them when they were killed off by different characters. Lily Gladstone is hands down the strongest performance, and even though she's not the main character, and maybe she should have been, she's hands down your gateway into the movie. Leonardo DiCaprio, he's not smart, he's not ethical. There's a lot of issues I have with the Leo character, Edgar, and or Edwin, or something like that. Dumb name. And I was just like, I have a really difficult time getting behind Leo. Robert De Niro's in there. I think De Niro is fantastic, but this is probably the same level of like him and Joker. Do you know what I mean? Like, not to say that he's phoning it in. He's not. He's got Scorsese like, at the helm, but it's not gonna be groundbreaking. He's very much just being this gaslighting asshole who's trying to get everybody to think that, hey buddy, I'm here to help you. I'm here to do this for you because, you're my nephew and I care about you. Meanwhile, it's like he's just lining his pockets and he's just lying to everybody. And the movie, like I said, the entire time we're watching it, the wall to the right is vibrating with the boom, 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 boom. And every now and then you go, and now we got bad blood. And you're like, what the, come on. So that was really distracting, especially in some of the more serious scenes. But again, that's not going to change my opinion. It's just more like, I can still tell the difference. It didn't distract me enough. I still know that this movie was largely way too slow paced. It needed to be sped up. It needed to do more things with it. It couldn't, it's not good just the way it is. I think there's a great movie in here if you edit it down. With that said, I do feel like for a typical Scorsese film, it was lacking some iconic moments that would have made it better. It just felt like every scene just kind of felt like, okay, it was well paced. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't well paced. It was well directed. It was well acted. Okay, mission accomplished. But it could have been tighter. This just feels like this. It's kind of like watching the Snyder Cut, and I don't love the Snyder Cut like some people do, but I can appreciate for what it is. And it's like that, where it's just so long, and even though you can appreciate the craftsmanship and that goes into every scene, you can really feel the runtime. And because it's not the most compelling of characters to get behind, Leonardo DiCaprio especially, it's a really difficult time to try to stick with this movie and be like, I can't wait to watch this again. You know what I mean? Like, when people think of Scorsese, they think of like fun, high adrenaline kind of movies. They think of Goodfellas and Shutter Island and Casino, and The Wolf of Wall Street is one that a lot of people know today. And this movie is just, it doesn't carry the pace that it should. I liked it, but again, I have a lot of issues with it. I'm very conflicted by it. So those are my thoughts on Killers of the Flower Moon. I wish it could have been better. I wish Taylor Swift wasn't blasting through the doors. I wish it had a quicker pace. I wish Leo wasn't an idiot. However, with great cinematography, great acting, and Martin Scorsese doing probably his swan song, I think the movie was pretty good. There is a scene in the end. It's not really a spoiler, but like the finale of the movie is weak sauce, if that makes sense. I was so let down by the finale of the movie because it does this weird thing where like there's I don't want to spoil it, but like we're watching the movie in a certain way the whole movie, and the last 10 minutes do like this like shift, and now we're watching something else that conveys the information about how the story ends, but why? Like, why couldn't we just actually show what happened, or why couldn't we portray this information in a way that's, 3 hours and 45 minutes, and it's like the ending is basically spelled out to you on a stage. And, you know, this is a minor spoiler, but not really. It's on IMDb. Martin Scorsese shows up in the last scene of the movie, and he's kind of just like, he's on a microphone, and he's kind of like, you know, he's doing like a radio broadcast about how the events of this movie ended, and it's kind of just like this strange way to end the film. It's like, why wouldn't you just show it? You showed everything else in the last 3 hours and 45 minutes. I mean, was it what did you try to do this and like they're like, oh, the movie's gonna be 5 hours, but you know what, fine, I'll reshoot the last hour and a half and I'll do it on stage and it'll be a radio broadcast. You're like, what are we doing? I asked the person next to me, I'm like, wait, just to confirm, what happened to that character? And what happened to that character? I think this is what happened. But again, kind of iffy. You know, if you don't have all the names of all these characters memorized in your head, there's going to be a couple times, kind of like an Oppenheimer, where you're just going to be kind of like, I need to watch this again, read the book it's based on to really capture it all, and then come back to it. I think this is a movie that I'm going to appreciate more with time, because it's like, in part, it's like a history lesson. Or, you know, you don't know all the characters by heart. I think that's the biggest problem. Knowing the names of all the characters probably would benefit. So reading the book, like as I was told, would probably be a good idea. So yeah, are you gonna go check out Flowers of the Killer Moon? I'm sorry, Are you gonna check out Killers of the Flower Moon? Be sure to comment down below. What did you think? Was Taylor Swift blaring through your wall while you were trying to watch the movie? Be sure to comment down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.